Our Child Advocacy Center here in Alachua County started in 1998. It was really the vision of Rod and Dee Dee Smith in our community. They pulled together a number of child protection professionals in our area. We're really looking at ways to make child abuse investigations more effective, more efficient, and easier on children and families.
The Child Advocacy Center is located downtown Gainesville. We've got a beautiful facility where we're able to do child therapy. We're able to meet with kids and parents and teachers. We also offer a lot of training to different groups like teachers and church groups and about how to recognize child abuse and what to do about it.
Child Advocacy Centers, there are 27 in Florida, there are 900 around the country. What we're looking to do is to insulate children from the adult part of child abuse investigations. Child Advocacy Centers are child-friendly, neutral, compassionate, loving places for children when there have been allegations of abuse. Coordinating all of the efforts of what we call multidisciplinary team professionals together to make sure that children get all of their needs met when a child abuse investigation happens.
Everyone has their role, and the Child Advocacy Center has been kind of like a home for the team. Mindful of the fact that it's about child protection and ensuring the best holistic approach to our investigations, finding the best resolution for the families and the victims and or witnesses.
This includes medical professionals, law enforcement, Department of Children and Families, the Child Protective Investigators, Guardian Ad Litem, mental health professionals, the State Attorney's Office. All of these folks get together and watch an interview of a child through a closed circuit television from another room, so children don't have to be interviewed over and over and over by different professionals. Our staff provides forensic interviews, and that's a neutral fact-finding interview to find out what happened. In a really child-friendly environment, they play with Play-Doh, they may color, they may draw, while they're talking to a trained professional about what happened to them.
That has a way of impacting a child's development and their brain and their body and their emotions differently. So therapy really works to focus on that, teach kids about how trauma impacts.
During that process, the multidisciplinary team watching from the other room, they're taking notes, they're gathering information. This is the child's statement. Keeps children from having to go to the police department or the sheriff's office to be interviewed in that more formal grown-up setting. This is very child-friendly and centered on the children specifically. There's something about the power of an emotional connection with a pet that really allows children to open up.
Having Oliver and Elliot just here at the center, dogs have feelings just like people do, and they experience trauma and have normal reactions to trauma. And I'll go in and explain each of their stories, and Elliot is more physical, you can see it. Oliver, it's more emotional. He is a big boy, but he gets really timid and he tries to make himself really small when he feels afraid. Either one or both stories a child can always relate to, and it elicits a lot of empathy.
The multidisciplinary team is watching and gathering that information. Law enforcement is making plans potentially to do search warrants. Child protective investigators are looking for safe placement for children if their homes are not safe. What kind of services do these children need? Do they need speech therapy? Do they need specialized trauma-focused therapy? Do they need medical appointments? Our staff will go with families to court. They will go with families to the Social Security office, as well as basic need linkages. Food, clothing, housing, shelter, and kind of keeping tabs on the case and keeping tabs on the children and the families and how things are going is a really critical part of our advocacy.
It's life-changing for everyone involved. They don't understand why a trauma would be happening, so to get them to love themselves again, to have, again, the same coping skills. But it's also, I think, just the way that they help the caretakers, because at the end of the day, those are the role model for the children. It also helps to make sure that the caretakers aren't going to get in a similar situation where abuse occurs.
There's over 4,000 reported annual cases of child abuse every single year, and it affects roughly 10% of our children right here among us in Alachua County. Although we do primarily serve Alachua County, we do also serve the surrounding counties. We are a light at the end of the tunnel for thousands of children and families, and they don't have to let anything from their past, any trauma, it doesn't have to define their future. It doesn't have to take part of what their life looks like ahead of them. And so that ultimately does have like a ripple effect into our community, because all of these children, one day they will be active members in our community, also partnering with us and standing next to us in our fight against child abuse.
We have a number of big fundraising events that we do a year. Our biggest is Gainesville Gone. This year it is Gainesville Gone New Orleans. In the past it's been Gainesville Gone Memphis and some other different cities. But it's a lot of fun. It's out at Alan Hitchcock's Ranch. There's a lot of different ways that people can volunteer in the community, and we have people that help us either raise money or set up the event. We have volunteers that come into the center and help with things like filing or just things that we need as an organization. And then we have groups, we have these wonderful sorority groups that actually do fundraisers throughout the year and then present us with these wonderful checks. And so there's lots of different opportunities for kids and adults to volunteer with the center.
Our website is childadvocacycentergainesville.org. You'll find out about our services there. You'll learn about our fundraising events and ways to support us. We also have job postings there and ways to get involved and volunteer for the center.
So to see a child or a victim or actually a complete family unit go from complete distress and trauma and crisis to actually healing and rebuilding is amazing.